Hello, and welcome to another MrMatchat with me, MrMatchow. And as you probably guessed it, this week we're going to be speaking about Hearthstone. Somewhat convenient now, as just past it was the Hearthstone open beta. I mean, I'm one of the fortunate ones to have been in the beta a little while before, because I was on every forum going, "Please, I need to." No, I wasn't that bad, but there has been a definite clear interest in Hearthstone because it's a Blizzard game. I mean, it's a card game by Blizzard. As if the World of Warcraft trading card game wasn't fantastic enough to have something, a game online that is just so easily accessible and easily pick up and playable. Ooh, that's nice. Rolls off the tongue quite well, like a erection. No, that. You can probably tell that I haven't done one of these in a while. I must admit, I took a little bit of a break over Christmas, and coming back into the whole style and format of things is probably going to take a little while to get used to. But with Hearthstone, there's so many things. I mean, like, Hearthstone, if for those people who might not know, if you've been living under a rock, is, as mentioned, a new trading card game by Blizzard, the creators of World of Warcraft, StarCraft, all things craft, but not Minecraft. Well, I've sort of screwed myself just there. But basically, they've originally there is a World of Warcraft trading card game, but Hearthstone somewhat simplifies it, and as you might expect, it takes the 9 original classes. I'm going to try and list them, which is going to be a really bad idea. Mage, Priest, Paladin, Warrior, Druid, Shaman, Rogue. Oh, come on, don't fail me now, brain. And there's others. If I've left out the class that still happens to be your favourite, I apologise. I'm just really bad. But looking from a design point of view, trading card games have always sort of been considered a physical sort of game. I mean, if you Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sort of games like that have richly they didn't start, but a lot of their success is down to the sort of the trading card game and the rules sort of created around it. And there's definite influences you can sort of see with like other trading card games like Magic the Gathering, but it's very simple. It's like the rules and sort of like things are. It's very easy to pick up. There's nothing sort of completely out of the ordinary, and the skill and the sort of the high level play and sort of like the ranking system that they actually have in the game is a lot down to how people build their deck and understanding all the other decks and the class specific cards and things, which does bring like a whole new level to play, because all the 9 different classes all have their own, you know, unique abilities and unique cards that makes them stand out and sort of like have their advantages over different classes. Like, you know, Priest has the ability to sort of change their power up and sort of to being able to heal minions. You can sort of focus that around on having enraged creatures, or, you know, sort of like stacking health and things like that. Or Paladins, you can sort of have like a buff focused deck where you can get out these 1/1 weenies and just be able to buff them, and they actually do massive amounts of damage and things. But there is, I mean, obviously beta is beta, and even in this early stages, there are definitely classes and things which need tweaking and balancing. Like I said, the most recent people know is the mages used to have this card called Pyroblast, which was an 8 cost and deals 10 straight damage. Now it's a 10 cost to deal 10 damage, which is slightly unfair. So you have to sacrifice an entire turn to deal that amount of damage. But it's also small things like Trump, who's actually like on Twitch. He's a very big streamer for Hearthstone, and he was recently at BlizzCon. He was I believe he got to the finals, but unfortunately lost. He has like a tier list, and a lot of the high level people do have tier lists of what sort of minions and cards they sort of value over others, and the neutral thing. And it is sort of interesting, like which ones they value and which ones sort of thing. And I would be interested to find out how much Blizzard is like contacting these sort of like people playing it at like almost a near professional level. I mean, there's no real Hearthstone tournaments. I mean, there's a few going around sort of thing, but there's nothing really set in stone yet. And I'll be interested to know if they're actually communicating with the esports industry to sort of try and get some. I mean, BlizzCon and Blizzard have always been really good at hosting their own tournaments and events. I mean, there's not really any. Their World of Warcraft arena ones I've always been quite impressed. StarCraft, I mean, that in itself is just massive. And it's for them to actually be coming out and sort of saying, okay, you guys are playing it to be the best. What cards do you find are effective? Which ones do you find not effective? Why? And sort of things like that. I mean, there's so many good cards and sort of thing like you sort of pick up which ones you sort of enjoy and sort of like craft your deck around sort of things like that. And that's that. I mean, like they've got a good balance down. One of the good things is like they've got the 9 basic classes, which sort of does open them up for like DLC and things. Obviously, they don't include the Death Knight or the Monk class. But that's not to say they won't. Maybe it's just like because to keep it simpler with these 9 sort of things, they do have areas to expand and sort of things, which is always quite interesting. I don't know if they will actually go down that sort of route, but like I said, there's so much room for development in the future. They can add more packs, more cards and things. There's no real end, because with trading card games, you can just continue to go for all eternity. So I think you can just keep creating new cards and sort of like tweaking other ones. And the fact that it's all in like a digital format just makes it so accessible, and it makes it more like a breathing, living sort of. I don't want to say economy because it's not, but it's like as a system sort of thing. It can be tweaked on the go. It's like a game. It is a game. that's not what I mean. But as opposed to compared to traditional card games, it just has that massive bonus of being able to tweak things on the fly. That's something that like. Why things like Magic the Gathering and sort of like Yu-Gi-Oh, if they want to play it like things, they have like ban lists and things like that, cards which are just like ruled out because they're just overpowered. But with this, they can change it as and when they need, which is a really, really interesting thing. And I'll be interested to see if this sort of kicks Magic the Gathering up the butt to sort of say, because when I first got into Magic the Gathering, it was the online version of the game. Like the I bought from Steam sort of thing, and they let you access decks and you sort of build your own deck and things, but it's always from these I like to use them for goblins because I'm a dick, but it was always you had the goblin deck and you had all the goblin cards, but you can only put the goblin cards in, so there was no sort of like have access to all the cards and let them go wild with it. And that's something that sort of you can sort of see influences which Blizzard have, because you do have each of the classes which can only have these cards, but then you have this expansive neutral area which you can just take any from, as much as you like sort of thing. One thing I think I should also mention and commend from, again, speaking from a design aspect, is the tutorial for Hearthstone. Because for those people, recently since we went open beta, I sort of went to all my friends like, come on, you all need to get this so I can just completely kick your ass at and just feel good and awesome. The tutorial is structured incredibly well. I mean, you pick up that they take it slow, and while it is forced upon the player sort of thing, it is a very good learning curve sort of thing, because they introduce things one at a time. They go through all the different like effects you'll probably run into, and they get you quite cozy with the mage class, which is probably why mage class is considered quite strong, because everyone starts off with it sort of thing, and you get that to a good level sort of thing, and then you sort of have to branch away to go to the other classes and focus on them. But mages are quite strong at the moment. I mean, like, completely objective as me. I just, a lot of people struggle against mages, and I'm one of them. But when I'm playing as a mage, I have fun when I win. But yeah, also I liked how the tutorial sort of brought in an element of story, which I know is really weird to sort of say like that, but they sort of did, because they had like obviously you play as the mage Jaina or Janna. I mean, it's probably it's Jaina, but they have you play as the mage and Janna, and it's sort of like you against other people, or like NPCs sort of thing, and like against a bot computer. And it's weird because like somehow it still manages to get like a semi-tangible narrative off. Like 1 minute you're fighting Millhouse Mana Storm for some reason, then you're trying to deal with Hogger and things, and it's just like maybe that is somewhere they can sort of go with a story within Hearthstone. I mean, it was barely touched upon, and I don't know if they would follow it up as having like a story mode like like maybe something equivalent of what Magic the Gathering has, where you just like sort of you play against a person, and then you just eventually unlock. You just win, and then you get more cards and things. But I would be interested to see if they do follow any sort of ideas behind that, because I mean, there's so much artistic style, and there's so much they could follow up with this that they've got to be at least maybe tempted to throw. But like I said, story in a game like this isn't important. It's literally you can pick up and play it, and everybody sort of goes in, and has a sort of like easy in, easy out sort of thing. that was a little that came across worse than intended, but we'll roll with it. And I think the final point I really want to speak about, I'm moving away from like the tutorial and how that's sort of structured, is the microtransactions. Again, Blizzard have sort of, I mean, not really again. I feel they've done it right in this game, because the only two things you can pay for in this game is you can either buy more decks or you can buy arena passes. Arena passes are £2, and I mean, like, that's barely anything, and you just sort of get access to sort of like do an arena run sort of thing, which you get given a selection of cards to build your own deck, and then you keep going until you lose 3 times, and then you lose that deck forever. Or you can just buy decks for constructed. And having these two sort of sides, in which like both times it's really cheap to buy a single deck. A deck I think again I think it's slightly cheaper, or it could be the same. Don't quote me on any of this. But then you could buy like there's like a £35 one which is like 40 packs, and that's 40 times 5. That's maths. Which is that's 200 cards that you get like instantly sort of thing, and you can sort of like go through, and that's a good chunk of cards sort of thing. But I mean, there's no need to buy anything like this. There's daily quests which allow you to sort of save up gold quite quickly, and if you're quite good at the game, you sort of stack it. And that's, I mean, like there's ways in which you can sort of easily get money, and just by winning and going through sort of thing. They recently put a cap on it, but like I said, if you're playing it daily, just enough to get the daily quest, then there's never really a time in which you think, I just really need to buy a pack. Because if you do an arena run, you always get a pack, even if you go 0 and 3. I mean, that's really great, that you never feel like sort of cheated, sort of like, well, I mean, it wasn't fair sort of thing. You always get that pack. And sometimes if you do well enough, you get enough to fund another arena run, or you can use that to buy packs. And they've got a good system in which, like, for those people, there's no pay to win. I mean, a lot of people argue that some of the legendary cards are incredibly powerful, but you can't guarantee getting a legendary card unless you just throw a lot of money at it. So, yeah, I think I think a lot of games following this sort of like. There's been quite an increase in card-based games. There's a lot of apps are following it. Like there's the Assassin's Creed game. There was recently, I believe it was a Lord of the Rings game, which also sort of followed the same sort of suit, in which you buy cards to sort of battle against other people, sort of thing. Because the format in Hearthstone is quite successful, and I think like you can really learn something from looking at the way they've done it. And it would be interesting to see how many people are opting to actually buy packs or buy arena things, as opposed to saving up and getting it all from earning it. But I think that's generally everything else I really wanted to cover. I've got my notes in front of me right here. Oh, the last thing, as like I guess a part of it, is the rank system. I would like them to do more with the ranked. Maybe it's across like something across the same stance as like how StarCraft has it, because at the moment you can, once you have start at rank 25 and you can go up to rank 1, but then once you go past rank 1 you get a number, and then obviously if you keep winning you eventually become number 1 in the world sort of thing. or at least in your your area, EU, West, EU, all those sort of areas and things. And that I find to be incredibly appealing, just to be able to have to be considered the best in the world of sort of the game. And from there you can sort of craft these tournaments and things. Again, so that's why I think like having the ranked system in such like a simple and fun game is always just such like I really enjoyed this game. That's what I always tend to do. I tend to review games that I've been enjoying a lot recently. Hopefully I can get these back to doing like maybe one a week sort of thing. We'll see. We'll never know. That's stuff for the future. But this one's been slightly longer, a little bit all over the place, but they'll get better with time, I think. And yeah, this has been MrMatchow. Thanks again for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy. Oh, also, if you haven't got the Hearthstone beta, get it right now. It's free. You have no excuse not to. Do it. Bye.